Hey guys, it's me Shannon, your Barndominium expert. So today we'll be going over the top 7 Sherwin-Williams paint colors for your Barndominium. So there's several things you want to consider when picking a paint color. So the first one is, what kind of vibe are you going for? Do you want something a little bit maybe more minimalist, cozy farmhouse, maybe country bougie? So figure out kind of what you're going for as far as a look. And then also be aware of the LRV. So that stands for the light reflective value of the paint color, and that's just a fancy way of saying how bright the color is. So like a pure white would be closer to 100, and then your blacks are going to be lower. So I'll go through this in order of lightest to darkest neutral paint colors. So you also want to realize that lighting has such an effect on how your paint color shows on the wall. So we'll be showing you from the Sherwin-Williams site the paint color in different lighting situations. So let's hop right into it. All right, so the very first one is Snowbound. Snowbound, if you're wanting to do something more crisp, white, minimalist, pure, you'll want to go with Snowbound. It definitely has a very clean feel to it, some pink violet undertones. That one has an LRV of 83, so it's definitely very bright, but maybe not so sterile as like a pure white. The next one is Alabaster. So Alabaster has an LRV of 82, still great for that minimalist, clean, crisp look, but it's not a boring white. It's got a little something to it. There's a subtle warmth there. It's a great color also for trim. It does have a little touch of a yellow undertone. So yeah, definitely a little bit more warm than say the Snowbound, which has more of a coolness to it. Now the next one is City Loft. City Loft has an LRV of 70. I love this color. It's very sophisticated while still keeping that very airy feel. It has more of a taupe undertone. So that kind of is what gives it that edge. It looks a little bit more sophisticated with that taupe undertone. It's considered actually in the light gray territory, so we're starting to get a little bit into gray. It's kind of considered a light greige, so a mix of gray and beige. So yeah, definitely if you're wanting to elevate the place, maybe give it a little bit more warmth, but you still like that clean, crisp feel, I would go with City Loft, which has an LRV of 70. All right. Now the next one is Agreeable Gray. Agreeable Gray, I'm sure you've heard of it. Interior designers love it. It's one of the most popular paint colors, and this is going into mid-tone. So this is considered greige. Now this one actually has a little bit of almost a green gray undertone in some lightings, and it's very versatile, and that's why interior designers love this color. It goes with pretty much anything. We're starting to get into a little bit more saturation here as far as color, and it goes really well just like with browns, even greens, and it's just a touch more. It's a little bit actually earthy. All right, now Accessible Beige. This one's also a pretty popular one. I know some people like to, when they hear beige, they think of maybe their parents' house where it was more of that like yellow beige. That's not what this is. Actually, Accessible Beige is considered more in the gray family. So it's definitely has more of a gray undertone. Again, like a very sophisticated feel, and just adds a little bit more warmth to your room without being yellow. All right, Repose Gray. So this is slightly darker than Agreeable Gray, but they are pretty close. This one has an LRV of 58, whereas Agreeable Gray has an LRV of 60. So very, very close. The difference would be maybe more in the undertones. So Repose Gray has a little bit more of blue, even violet undertones, depending on the time of day and the lighting. And this looks best in a light-filled room. So one thing you want to consider too is really light colors with a higher LRV. You're going to kind of, if you're in a really bright room, some of that undertone kind of gets washed out. So like in a Barndominium, there's a lot of natural light, so you're not really going to see as much of those undertones, whereas you will in more of a darker room. So Repose Gray, Agreeable Gray, I think those are great colors to go with in a big open, well-lit space. The next one is a light French gray. A lot of people love this one too. It's very elegant. We're in the medium gray family here. It's really of warm and cool tones. And so it's a little bit more of a pale, cool neutral. You have hints of like lavender blue as well here. So that one also is a popular paint color to go with. It's more saturated. If you just want something with a little more punch, a little bit more color, I would go with light French gray. That one is the darkest of all these neutral colors with an LRB of 53. So there you go, lots of options. These are all standard with our selection. So you've got plenty of paint colors. We like Sherwin-Williams. So hopefully this was helpful, and you know where to find me if you've got questions. Looking forward to meeting you at your spec meeting when you get to pick all these colors, and hopefully this helps. Talk to you next time.